Hi, I want to give you a quick tip on 5S to help drive your 5S efforts. Often 5S is one of the first lean tools companies implement, and with good reason. It's a foundational tool, it's simple to understand, and it's a good way to build momentum and get the ball rolling if it's implemented correctly and it sticks. Hi, Brian McCordy here, Black Belt Lean Thinking. Got a copy of my book here on 5S+1. Yes, I am plugging it. When you look at the bowl of M&Ms, a bowl of yellow M&Ms, there's a blue one there. That's an abnormality. You don't have to look for it, you see it immediately. That's the purpose of 5S+1. Is to get such a level of organization of visual cues to where you don't have to look for problems. They surface on their own. They're literally waving their hand at you. We're teaching our environment to communicate with us. Part of lean is developing an organization, your work environment that's self-monitoring, self-regulating, and self-correcting. It makes our life easier. It's a tremendous win when we get it implemented. Okay, now I want to give you a tip. I often hear from companies and from organizations that have trouble with 5S+1. I hear more failures actually than I do successes. And they all come down to that sustainment. We work really hard at it and then we just can't sustain. I'm going to give you a tip that will help make your sustainment much stronger and it will stick. Something I always thought was a little bit odd was that we have trouble with sustaining. Because typically when you're creating a new habit, the problem is getting the habit changed, starting exercising, quitting smoking, starting to eat healthy. Once we get the habit in place, then it runs on autopilot. So what are we missing with 5S to where we can't get it sustained? Here's my tip. If you've ever read Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, one of those habits is start with the end in mind. Do the same with 5S+1. Start with sustainment. And here's how you do that. Before you begin your efforts on 5S+1, look at the environments. What do you have got going on now? What can you do now to start that sustainment habit? Here's what I mean. Let's take a typical work area. What I suggest is you create a simple 5S check sheet. So this is your 5S+1 check sheet. And put on it just a few items starting out. Now remember, this is at the beginning of the 5S process. You could do this today before you even start with 5S. And what you do with that is list maybe 5 to 10 items. I'll have 6 on here. And these are items that are, issues maybe right now or things that you want to start getting a sustainment habit in place. What this is starting to create that habit. So in the work environment, say in an office, is, at the end of the day, let's make sure that all the things on your desk are put away. Any shared things like anything from staplers to adding machines or whatever are put up. Your trash is emptied. Your desktop has been cleaned off. Everything's filed. Any documents need to be turned in. Okay, for a department out on the floor, you could use this to wrangle in safety. There are no slip and trip hazards. Tools are put away. Workbenches are cleaned off. Trash has been emptied. No bottles without labels on them, whatever. But you start that at the beginning. We're getting people used to sustainment and organization. If you do that in the beginning, also what that does is it starts that thought of the end in mind. Now, with this in place immediately, you can start changing it as you move forward. Remember, with lean, it's about continuous improvement. It's like heading east. You never run out of east to head to. We want people used to change, used to controlling their environment, used to looking at and using checklists. If you ever read the book, The Checklist Manifesto, we drive sustainment and change and control everything by having good checklists. From that pre-flight that the pilots use before you take off on Southwest Airlines or whatever, to what a surgeon looks at before starting the operation. We want checklists, and this is a great sustainment tool that you could begin 5S with. So you're going right to the end, starting with this. Then when you do your 5S, you've got something you can build on, because this should be changing all the time. Again, when you start with your first 5S check sheet, for a department, as you grow and learn and that department morphs and becomes more and more efficient, maybe you get different issues and stuff, you'll change this list for targeting whatever's important now. We have an issue that's really important, say unlabeled bottles or trip hazards or whatever, put it on here. Tools not being put away. But as those become non-issues, maybe you need to change it to something else. Even looking at your Kaizens for the day, or helping with whatever, but you can use it to drive those things. The neat thing about a check sheet is they're really a neat way to get control without being a pain in the butt. Because one of these should take 2-3 minutes to do, end of the shift, no big deal. The people in the department do it once a week, say their direct boss looks at it, validates it, now you have 2 layers of inspections on that. Already your sustainment is gaining power. So you've got once a day, the people in the area are doing the check sheet, their boss is doing it once a week, then you might have a manager look at it once a month. Each one signs off on it. Now you have 3 layers. You can build on that. Another component you can add slowly as you start gaining control with this is take pictures of the area, laminate it along with pictures of the people responsible, put them in the area on the wall somewhere. This is what the area should look like. And again, you have the picture, you have the environment, they should match. All these things help give us visual cues and kind of start a communication loop. We love puzzles and we hate it when things don't line up. So if this is a check sheet we're going to be looking at and one of them is no slip and trip hazards, we need to pick that cord up. Again, it's a very simple way to get things going. Okay, so recap. No matter where you're at with 5S+1, even if you haven't implemented it yet, you can put a check sheet together to start driving behavior towards surfacing problems or getting control of your environment. Again, it's all about surfacing problems, it's all about gaining control. We can start implementing this as a sustainment habit at any point in the game. Why wait till the end? Get it going up front. Then slowly morph the environment, going through the rest of the S's, and you've got a much better shot at good sustainment. Hopefully this helped. Again, I am glad to answer any questions. You can reach me on my Black Belt Lean Thinking website. I also have some tools you can download off that website, like 5S+1 check sheets, so you can start with these templates. So feel free to use them. Thank you again. Brian McWhorter, Black Belt Lean Thinking.